What have we got here?
Awesome.
Next tip is reduce. This is reduce your workload as a teacher. How? By reusing and recycling. I know it might seem academic to say that. It's a given, but it will be surprising how often people don't really recycle. And I'm talking about between levels. I teach B1 to, this year I've got B1 to C2. I'm able to use very similar activities. You just adapt them. You adapt them. If I give you an example, my write a review, I've adapted that for B1, B2, and C1. So there are 3 versions of my review. How did I do it? By upgrading my language. If I go back to the cat sat on the map, I've taken words out. In the case of B1, I've rephrased a few things, changed the vocabulary, but essentially it's been far less work than me creating an original work for three different classes. Once you have activities that you are happy with and that work really well with your class, with one class, you should be adapting them for other classes. Don't just think, oh, well, I can use that for B1 all the time. Use it for B2, use it for C1, C2, use it for all your levels. Recycling isn't cheating. It makes sense. You know, we can't keep every week coming up with these fresh, crazy new ideas as much as we'd like to. You know,
yeah,
I have a lovely, yeah, go on.
It's something that we touched on with Harry the other week too. Right. There's no need to reinvent the wheel. You know, use and adapt. You adapt like another person's wheel for whatever you need at the time, but you don't have to recreate everything. That's why there are teacher resources, and we do have teacher meetings and things like this.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've got so many activities now that today when I'm planning, I think, okay, I'm going to do that for that, that for that, that for that, that for that. It's great. You know, it's great. Yes, we use recycle. I just think it bears mentioning again, really, because with exam tasks particularly So the next is context matters. Now, I've mentioned this a few times today about how you frame an activity, because when we look at a Cambridge exam, we're seeing black and white piece of paper with lots of text on about a subject maybe, you know, I don't like, and we're turned off instantly by it. It's not exciting for us. It's not fun. But like I say, context matters. So this is a multiple choice, for example, a multiple choice. Now, the first thing I did with my students, this is a B2 part 1. So I said to them, this is the very first thing you're going to see when you open the exam paper. I said, and we're going to practice it. And how did we practice it? Well, teacher's favourite, Kahoot. So you know Kahoot. Everybody knows Kahoot. We love Kahoot.
Everyone, what a lifesaver.
It absolutely. And kids, teachers, they love it. They absolutely adore the game. And I'm telling you, this has been really, really good. I don't overuse it, but it does get used a fair amount. I would say a couple of times a month in each class because it works. This is the same activity as essentially as the example I just showed you as this. It's exactly the same. It's a question, essentially, with 4 possible answers. And in fact, I've taken real B2 readings, I've broken them up, and then I've basically transported them into a Kahoot. So my students have been doing that this week, and they'll play it. They're all very exciting.
Oh, they create it?
No, I created it. I did it. But I have had the students create it.
You could have the students create one. Choose one from a practice book or a resource, and then they create it.
It's great for word formation, where you have to, manipulate the word prefixes and suffixes, get the students to create that. I've done that before.
Perfect.
But yes, so Kahoot is great. I also use this because a lot of people, I don't know if a lot of people have ever tried to use it, but there is the voting, the survey as well. There's the survey option. So when you're creating, it's more of a not who's right or wrong. It's like a voting, like a vote where everybody votes. And the idea is I get them talking together to try and agree on an answer. And then we have to go with them. The idea is as a class, the majority have to choose the correct answer.
I haven't done the survey one. I'll have to check that out.
It gives it a new twist, mixes it up a little bit,
Nice.
So another example of context is, so there's the 2 side by side. Another example of context is this here. I'm sure you've seen this before, the classic making a decision. So really, students look at this, and again, this is the taking turns thing where they sit let's make it real, very simple. Bring it to them with students, make it about them, ask them about decisions that they've had to make. And what you were saying before about getting the students to create the content is every single activity I do, I try and find something in life, in real life, where they would have to use that skill, because essentially we're teaching them English because they want to be able to use that English to live their lives. So I'm sure that we can find a context where they will have to use that language. So in the instance of this, buying a gift, I can create a scenario, but I find the best things are, is there someone whose birthday is coming up? Is there a holiday that you're planning? And help them actually make real life decisions. Give them real context, and see how they get on. And I find that there's a lot more passion involved then. I sometimes record them. I will ask them, say, can I record you just because I want you to see? It's just for you to see. And I'll play it back to them. I say, you see that? You see the difference? You were really invested in it. Just, and in the real exam, apply that. And it helps them make that link. If you do it a few times, a bit like this, my objective is that when they go to the exam or they sit down and try a task like this, they think of it in a slightly different way. They approach it in a different way. They're not going to sit there and start seeing red, blue, green, and yellow, choosing, it on their exam paper, but at least they're going to have a more positive memory of this kind of cognitive thinking. Yeah,
and if you get them to do that enough, like that muscle memory, they might in their minds start seeing the red, green, yellow, blue. In their
I'd rather they didn't hallucinate in the exams, but I know what but essentially that's the whole idea, is that it's creating those links, and I really just want, when my students come into the class, to see everything in the most positive light possible.
Hey guys, I'm sitting here with my daughter, Sophia. She's recording this, and I just want to thank you for watching this video. If you like it and you want to see another video like it, then right next to me, you can click another video for a fun lesson idea or a teaching tip. And don't forget to subscribe and click the bell so you get new videos every week. Keep teaching and keep learning. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.